Good morning. This is Excel assignment number 8. It is our nutrition facts assignment. I'm going to be walking through it step by step. Hopefully, this will help you out as you complete the assignment. Open a new file in Excel so that it looks just like this, and input the following information just as it appears on the document that I provided for this assignment. I'm going to go ahead and take a second and fill this in. All right, so we've completed this very first chart. And basically what this is telling us is the percent daily value based on a 2,000 calorie or 2,500 calorie diet, how much total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium and carbohydrates that we should have in our diet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to scroll down now to cell 12, and I'm going to create another table. It is very important that you follow exactly what I'm going to do here and exactly the right cells. Otherwise, your whole project won't work correctly. So again, we're on the same sheet. We're going to be creating 3 tables for meals of your choice using the nutrition information sheets from typical fast food restaurants. Again, we're going to begin in cell A12. I'm going to type in breakfast. And again, we're going to include the exact numbers and labels just as they appear here. I know it might not be the meal that you'll choose, but you'll be able to do that later. Okay, I'm going to go down to A14. I'm going to scroll over to B14. I'm going to put in my column headings, which are going to be calories, total fat, grams, cholesterol, in milligrams, and carbohydrates, in grams. I'm then going to scroll down to A15. I'm going to put down a few examples of things that you might order: burger, fries, Diet Coke, and then I need a totals category or column. And then let's just go ahead and fill in the values. So a burger has 420 calories, 190 grams of total fat, 70 milligrams of cholesterol, and 37 grams of carbohydrates. Fries have 210 calories with 90 grams of total fat, no cholesterol, and 26 carbohydrates. A Diet Coke says that it has 0 calories, 0 total fat, 40 milligrams of cholesterol, and no carbohydrates. And then lastly, for our totals column, right, this row is for our totals. We need to insert formulas to calculate the totals for each of the columns B through E. So this is relatively easy. All we're going to do is go up to our auto sum feature, right? It's going to auto sum B15 to B17. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and I'm going to drag that formula over so that it sums E15 through E17, B15 through D17, and C15 through C17. I'm now going to take a second. I'm going to stretch out my columns so everything fits. And I'm going to merge and center my title. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it bold. I'm also going to make these column headings bold. I'm going to make these headings bold. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just create some borders. Big border box. All right, so let's just, I'm going to just really quickly, I'm going to change the size of the breakfast heading to 16. Everything else looks good. Make sure that your column they've all been auto fitted, and actually I'm going to take my totals here real quick before we move on, and I'm just going to center those in each cell. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight from cell A15 to E17. Notice where I'm highlighted, A15 to E17. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to, on my keyboard, I'm going to click the delete button. And it's going to delete all of the information I put in for burgers, fries, and Coke. I'm now going to highlight from A12 through E18. So I basically have my whole column selected. I'm going to go up to copy. And now I'm going to paste this in cell A22. And in A33. And I'm going to change the second table from breakfast to lunch. You can probably guess it right now. The third table is going to change from lunch to dinner. All right, so let's just take a second and let's just go ahead and file save as. And I'm just going to save this in my folder, and I'm going to call it Nutrition Facts and hit save. So the next part is that we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and find out like what we would order for our typical breakfast, lunch, dinner, and we're going to include it into our chart. Remember to make sure you include all beverages, side dishes, and sauces that you might order if you went out to eat. We can go ahead and use this website right here. This is just one example, although you could probably look on each individual like website for the restaurants that you're interested in. Let's see if we can. So here I found this. Link with all of these different restaurants. So let's say that for breakfast, let's see if I can find something that looks interesting to me. There's IHOP right there. And again, almost all large chain restaurants are required to have a website that talks about how many calories they have. So here's a perfect example. So for me, I might start my morning with a bagel. So I like a everything bagel. So let's see if I can find that. Here we go. So here's a breakfast bagel with egg, cheese, and sausage. All right. And so it says that for this breakfast bagel with egg, cheese, and sausage, so I'm going to go back to my table. And the first thing I'm going to put in is I'm going to put a breakfast bagel with egg, cheese, egg, cheese, sausage. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just going to wrap my text so that it doesn't shoot it way out. And we know that for this, it's gonna be 590 calories. And you can see I found that right here, calories, 590. My total fat is gonna be 34 grams, so 34 grams. My cholesterol is 210 milligrams. Oops, sorry, wrong column, 210 milligrams. And carbohydrates is 63 grams. And you can see that because of how we copied and pasted our chart, it's already putting these formulas in for us. So let me see what else at the bagel shop I might be interested in getting. And so the truth is that if I went, I'd probably get maybe like one breakfast bagel, but I'd also probably do a bagel with cream cheese and an orange juice. So I'm gonna look for I might need to find, let's see, I might need to find just what the cream cheese. Here we go. So here's an everything bagel. It's gonna be 310 calories. So I'll just do an everything bagel. And if I click on that, it's got 310 calories. Just make it so I can see both. 310, and it's got 2.5 grams. It's got cholesterol, it's 0. And carbohydrates, it's got 62. And then the last thing, or I'm actually gonna do two more things. I wanna find out how much cream cheese. I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna insert one more, and I wanna find an orange juice. Okay, and so you can add like another line item if you want on yours. It depends on what it is. Here, let's see if I can find. I'm just gonna look for cream cheese. And here we go. So we'll just go with plain cream cheese. So if I did plain cream cheese, it's gonna be 130 calories. It's gonna be 11 grams of fat. It's gonna be 40 milligrams of cholesterol, and it's going to have 6 total carbohydrates. Go back, and let's just try that one more time for orange. Here we go, orange juice. So this is for 16 ounces. I might just add that in here so that and again, I'll just wrap the text, and it's got 220 calories, 0 grams of fat, 0 cholesterol, and 52 carbohydrates. Okay, so there I've done my breakfast. I can format my chart a little bit by coming here. I can center these values so that looks a little bit nicer. And I also want to make sure I update my my chart to that so that it's added all of this, and it has. So that's really nice. That's all said and done. So now I'm going to do the same thing for lunch and dinner, and then I'll be back in a second to show you the rest. All right, so as you can see, I've finished filling in my breakfast, lunch, and dinner tables. I chose a breakfast bagel for lunch. I figured you can't resist an In-N-Out burger. I'm gonna go here and just wrap my text really quick. And again, I just want to take an opportunity to clean up my table, make sure that it looks good, and also make sure that all of this information is correct and that it's adding up all of the cells that I need it to. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chart my findings. So I'm going to do that by highlighting for each table. I'm going to highlight my titles, my column headings, and I'm going to highlight my totals. I can highlight both of them at the same time by holding down Control on my keyboard. And again, you can see I highlighted calories, total fat, cholesterol, and carbohydrates, and I highlighted each of the totals that I got for my breakfast. Once I've done that, I'm going to go to Insert. And you can see under Charts, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to choose this very first one. Okay. Once I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a title. If you don't see this, right, then and we're going to give it the name breakfast. If you don't see this option, you can go to your design tab and you can say add chart element, go to chart title and say above, and just say above chart. Obviously, because it's for my breakfast table, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to name it breakfast. I could even go ahead and be more specific and I can give the name of the restaurant that I chose. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this chart and I'm going to position it right next to the chart that I created. Before we move on, though, I want to go ahead and I want to format my chart. So to do that, I'm going to go to my chart layout tab. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go to my design tab. And I have a lot of different options that I can choose from. So you can choose one that you like the look of, right? And you can also go ahead and go to the format button and you can change, for example, if I want to change the background, I can change the shape fill to maybe something like dark blue. And I can change my actual chart. I just go back to format and I can go to shape fill and I can make it something sort of bright and easy to see. So again, and then actually I'm going to change this. I'm going to go to format and that'll kind of match that nicely. And there's what my chart looks like. Now I'm not that happy with this being on 2 lines, so let's highlight that and let's go to my home tab and I'll make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and that actually helps my chart. All right, now that I've got my table set up, I'm going to go ahead and I want to also just highlight these cells again. And I'll just give them a little bit of a color so that they're formatted nicely. I could also, if I don't like any of those, I can go to my home tab, go to cell styles, and these are some more gentle colors that might blend with what I'm doing over here. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for lunch. I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to highlight the column titles, and I'm going to highlight the totals that I got for lunch. I'm going to go to Insert, Chart, choose the same kind of chart. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, oops, I'm going to actually drag it up here. make sure I want it to be the same size as my other one, just so aesthetically it looks good. So I'm just gonna grab this, and then I'll bring it down here. And I'm gonna design my chart. Maybe for this one, I'll just choose something a little different, just for fun. I'm gonna change my chart title to lunch at, in, and out. And then I'll just quickly change my background color. I'll go to format, I'll go to shape fill. I do kind of like that darker blue, so I might just stick with that. But this just gives you an idea of the fact that you can shift things around to look how you want them to. And once I'm happy with that one, I got one more chart to make. So in this case, I'll just really quickly highlight these cells again. I'm going to go to my home tab. I'm going to go to cell styles. And then last one. Remember, I hold down control so that I can select both. And then I can go to insert, chart, 2D column chart. I'm going to do the same thing as I did last time and just shrink it down nice and small so that I can make it the exact same size as my other charts. I'll move it, oops. I'll move it down here so that it's right next to it. I'll go to the design tab, choose a chart style that I like the look of. I'll go to format and I'll fill it. Again, I'm just going to stick with the same sort of look. I just like consistency. I don't really like all those lines. This one is going to be called dinner at Chipotle. And again, that's hard to see, so I might just go to my home tab and I can like change the color to something that'll stand out more. Maybe make it bold. And I could do the same thing for down here. And there we go. So you have an example, and you can go ahead and change yours and adjust them. I encourage you to spend a little bit of time playing with the chart options because it really does add like a lot of great like depth and style, and it looks like you've done a lot more work when really in reality it took you just a matter of minutes. And just to keep things consistent, I'm going to go back to my home tab, go to cell styles, and give that a look like that. So the last step is I'm going to compare my diet with what the government suggests. So I'm going to need to adjust because I actually wound up taking up a bit more space. So even though it says on the handout at the beginning, cell A43, I'm going to begin a little bit lower in A46, and I'm going to create another table. In this one, it's going to be called government comparison. And this table is going to calculate the totals of all of my meals, and compare them with the total suggested by the government. So again, format your table this way. I'm going to give space, I'm going to say item, calories, total fat, cholesterol, carbohydrates, and then I'm going to say government, and I'm going to say Mr. Rubin totals for the day. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap that text right there. I'm going to merge and center this. I'm going to add a little bit of formatting. I'm going to fill this with black and change my text to white, and I'm going to make my text bold. I'll make this text bold as well. And I'm going to change this size to match the rest of it, which is 16. And I'm going to go ahead and type in, it says if you're a female, type in 2,000. If you're a male, type in 2,500 for total calories. In C, we're going to, if you're a female, you're going to type in 65. And if you're a male, you're going to type in 80. In cell D, you're going to type in 300, regardless of whether you're a male or a female. And for carbohydrates, if you're a female, you're allowed 300. And if you're a male, you're allowed 375. So I'm going to type in 375. Then in cell B47, we need to write a formula that's going to add all of the calories from your breakfast, lunch, and dinner tables above. So to do that, I'm just going to say equals sum, open parentheses, and I'm literally just going to click on each of these. I held down the control key, and then I close the parentheses, and that'll give me my calories. And if I do that correctly, right, I can just drag that formula across. And I'm going to clean this table up by doing this, doing this. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this information. So I'm going to chart this information by just highlighting all of my information. I'm going to go to insert, 2D chart again. Just like before, I'm going to shrink this down. Oops. I'm going to overlay it here on my chart. I'm going to make it so it's the same size. Once I've got that, I'm going to just go ahead and drag it down here. For this, I'm going to call it my government comparison. And I'll add some formatting. Actually, it looks cool like that, and I might leave it a little bit different just because it's like my final summary chart. And then beginning in cell A50, you're going to sort of summarize what you found about your diet versus your allowable government recommended daily values. All right, so thank you very much. Make sure that you save this and then make sure that you submit it when you're done in Google Classroom. Hopefully that was fun, and hopefully you learned something about your diet and need to figure out where you need to cut back. I will say, thankfully, I don't eat a cheeseburger from In-N-Out every day. All right, have a great day. Thanks.